You should have told me that Padres story on the air, Bloom.
Oh, I will. Or maybe. With the Chargers. When we get to the Chargers. If we're going to talk about San Diego.
San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
Look at you. Before we even start, you bring up the Lions. You brought up the Lions without bringing up the Lions.
Exactly. That's what I do. That's what I do. It's subliminal.
Right.
Subliminal.
Dan Campbell propaganda. Anyway, let's do this thing. Oh, wait.
You got a team, here's a word to the wise. You want to dominate your league? Go to football, guys.
Football. I'm living in a fantasy. Football. Got everybody mad at me. Football. Cause every game I had to win. Football. I gotta be a champion. Football. I'm living in a fantasy.
You gotta be a champion, and that's why you're listening to the Audible. Footballguys.com. Cecil, Lammey, and Sigmund Bloom. It's part 2 of our Week 10 preview, and it's Cleveland, Baltimore. Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. The Baltimore side's more interesting, Bloom, but we got to get through the Cleveland side and some injuries. Like middle of the week, again, this is Thursday morning, we're recording, but when Cooper doesn't practice on Wednesday, that's not a big deal. David Njoku didn't, though, and that might be a larger deal, especially in what should be a hard-fought game.
Yeah. By the way, T. Higgins got hurt in practice yesterday, too, a hamstring. I don't know if we're going to see T. Higgins going back to that Cincinnati Houston
and Jamar
game.
Chase is a game-time decision, probably.
Right. Maybe it's what the heck Cincinnati tight end week, but we're not talking about Cincinnati right now. We're talking about Cleveland, Baltimore. I was telling you about that Billy Strings Halloween show that was a tribute to wrestling. Did you watch a lot of wrestling, professional wrestling?
Let me tell you, brother, there you got to take your vitamins and say your prayers.
Yes.
Did the Hulkamania cartoon. It was the 80s.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So do you remember every now and then, like skirting into dangerousness, there would be a match where they have like barbed wire around the ring.
Of course.
Or something that would add more danger. And you knew there was going to be blood. You knew there was going to be like just carnage because it wasn't going to be about pinning the other guy. It was going to be about hurting the other guy. That's what this game feels like to me, this Baltimore-Cleveland game. Both of these defenses are surging right now, and I think that this is going to be an immensely entertaining game. It could be a really futile game for fantasy, and it's a really important game for both of these teams. I think Baltimore wants to assert their supremacy in a really good AFC North, and I think Cleveland wants to show now that Deshaun Watson is back and healthy again that they're a player. They're not just a player to make the playoffs, but they can play these teams straight up. Remember, this team against Baltimore, this has been a team that even when Cleveland has been bad, every now and then they would have Baltimore's number. And the other thing about this game that's really intriguing to me, Cecil, is we saw it when the Steelers played Baltimore. No matter how good Baltimore is, divisional opponents can give Lamar Jackson problems. So on the Cleveland side, again, a big test for Deshaun Watson. He's not a preferred quarterback one. You're probably going to see enough Jerome Ford to make a running back 2 flex play, but you're not that excited. Kareem Hunt, you're running a touchdown. Again, if Baltimore's defense plays the way they've been playing, don't think you're going to get it. Cooper, a boom bust play. Njoku, if he plays, that's maybe where Deshaun Watson's going to look, is some short stuff to Ford, to Njoku, to Elijah Moore. Still waiting for him to happen. But this might be a game that more important than what we want fantasy stats. It's Deshaun Watson not making mistakes. It's Deshaun Watson not taking sacks and allowing the Cleveland defense to have more influence on the outcome of this game than the offense. But the biggest influence on this game, of course, will be Lamar Jackson.
The biggest influence on this show will be if the New Orleans internet stays with us. Don't bring us pain today, New Orleans, if you're doing the wrestling thing. Let's talk about Baltimore. Keaton Mitchell. Yeah, but against the Browns. Now against the Browns. Like, oh, I love Zay Flowers. Now against the Browns. Lamar Jackson. The Gus bus. If they get close, I guarantee this Gus is going to try to plunge one in, right? Mm-hmm. But it might be a little tougher sledding this week.
Yeah, you would think that this is going to be a great test for a Baltimore offense that we've seen against Detroit, against Seattle. And again, the stats came up that how good this team is against NFC teams. All right. Now this is a little different against this Cleveland defense that every now and then, Gardner Minshew had success against them. So we'll see what Todd Monken has up his sleeve. Maybe it is Keaton Mitchell. One of the things that may incline a Keaton Mitchell what the heck flex play other than his explosiveness and his ability to make that pick hit on one play. There's not a lot of tape of what they're going to do with him, right? How are you going to prepare for the Keaton Mitchell plays when he's really only been in there for a week? And did they even use all the Keaton Mitchell plays? Now, as you point out, sometimes teams hold plays back, especially teams they expect to play in the playoffs. They have already played Cleveland. They beat them 28-3. So it isn't like they're going to be saving much. So maybe it's a Keaton Mitchell game. Zay Flowers is just a what the heck flex with everybody's healthy in the passing game, even Devin Duvernay catching some balls. And I think that, again, fantasy, blah, blah, blah. But it's really hard to pinpoint just how good Baltimore is, right? Yeah, you can beat up on teams coming on the road from the NFC. You can even beat up on Cleveland when Deshaun Watson wasn't right and this team was kind of figuring themselves out. But we saw this team lose to Pittsburgh earlier this year. If they lose this game, or this game is a nip and tuck affair, how does that hold up against Cincinnati? How does that hold up against Kansas City? How does that hold up even against Buffalo? A lot of questions to sort through. I don't think this is going to be a good game for fantasy teams. I do think this is going to be an incredibly revealing and entertaining game.
What if Baltimore just runs it past them?
You know what
I mean? What then? What do you got now? By the way, Rob Poole says he had a dream last night about us. We're driving on a road trip to big Star Wars exhibit, and we laughed when he told him his younger brother has won the Family League 5 out of the last 10 years.
Yeah. The little brothers everywhere. Eli Manning. I loved it when Eli had more Super Bowls than Peyton for those few years. I was a little brother. You're a little brother too, right?
Motivate him. Yeah. Oh, and it did motivate Peyton. Boy, did it motivate Peyton. It is a Broncos show. It is an Atlanta versus Arizona show. How about that for a change, Bloom? A welcome change. Welcome change maybe with Drake London. Maybe. Like, we'll see again Thursday morning, watch the injury report. And then, like, the times we've seen London with Heineke, he's been heavily targeted. Can we do what you did earlier, please? Can London just be healthy, get out there? Jonnu Smith, perhaps a little bit more Kyle Pitts. We'll get to the backfield as well. Against Arizona, Atlanta could have a robust day.
Yeah, that's the question I have is, could we see this offense come a little more into focus with Drake London likely back and Taylor Heineke at quarterback against Arizona defense that is overachieving, but that means they're not a very good defense on paper, and they've been competitive. We have Bijan Robinson. Let me talk about this for a second, Cease. My tongue-in-cheek joke was, is there any my brain's running the words together because I'm so excited to say this because I think I'm so clever. Is there any better rivalry in the NFL than Arthur Smith and fantasy football players? Every week, there's a new chapter. Every week.
Did you tweet that yet?
Yeah, I did. Of course.
Oh, okay. All right.
Of course. But it's because Arthur Smith is spending so much time explaining why he's doing what he's doing. That's methinks thou doth protest too much.
No bueno.
Why he's not using Bijan Robinson in the red zone and things like that. So we'll see. Certainly against Arizona, you would think both running backs are going to be good plays. You would think this offense is going to look more like the ideal of what Arthur Smith is trying to do, so that it doesn't matter what the roles are for the players, that everybody outperforms expectations, and that this team remains a contender in a very winnable NFC South. So this is a game that Atlanta expects to win, but this is also a game that is going to start a chapter. Cease, I have no idea what is coming next in Kyler Murray's career, but it starts in week 10.
Yeah, and the reports around the building have been like Kyler's paying attention.
Which is really funny because it's like when someone says, "Oh, wow, you look great. You lost a lot of weight. I didn't know you thought I was fat."
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you look really good today.
He's really engaged.
Do I not look really good? I don't know. I got a face for radio comment on Orange and Blue Today yesterday, and I'm always like, oh, I can't even say it on this show either. Damn it, Joe. Sorry. But anyway, anytime someone says that to me, I'm just like, Brian Windhorst. And then I also say like, I'm sorry I didn't completely turn you on. It was my whole point this morning when I woke up and I picked my outfit. I was like, I better have everyone aroused when I get on camera. Anyway, sorry, Joe. Can you stop talking about the arousal,
Sorry,
buddy?
Joe. Plus,
How about the arousal of your fantasy team now that Kyler Murray is back and maybe James Conner? And so Kyler's like trying. Okay, that's good. But I'm just thinking, like, are they going to feature him to trade him to show
right.
everybody, see, he can actually care so that they can get somebody else? Or is he good enough that they keep him? I don't know. It's not for this week, Bloom, but for this week, first week of Kyler Murray returning, maybe James Conner. Again, watch the injury report.
Right.
Let's talk. Arizona's much more interesting, and they were already interesting before with Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, this is an interesting team with Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is at least a boom bust quarterback one. I know first week back and knocking off the rust and things like that. But like you said, Cease, this is an interesting one. I want to ask you this just really quick. Let's say that Kyler Murray is on a trade market. I'll even make it more specific. Let's say that Kyler Murray is on the trade market, okay? And Sean Payton says, Cease, I know that you and I have, there's been some vibes. I'm not sure how we feel about each other, but I actually know you know football, and I got to ask you, should Denver try to trade for Kyler Murray? Should this team try to trade for Kyler Murray if he's available?
Yes.
I agree. And I think that this is where he starts to show that, hopefully. And if James Conner is on the field, he's in your lineup. There's more hope for Marquise Brown. There's more hope for Trey McBride. There's more hope for this team. And I think that what we're going to see in the second half of the year is everyone being reminded that, okay, Kyler Murray's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not Josh Allen. Okay, he's not even Jalen Hurts. But he's better than 2/3 of the quarterbacks that start. And that's even without injuries. So I, for one, at the very least, look forward to a football Sunday with Kyler Murray.
Yes, we shall see. Now it's your time to shine, Bloom. You're always shining like a beautiful beacon. Like we need this, but we need it with your picture every day.
Yes.
Every day. Sigmund is thinking about Dan Campbell. Actually, we need it with Dan Campbell's picture.
Yeah.
Like biting kneecaps. Somebody make that for us on Photoshop because I'm not going to make it. Anyway, every day, Bloom, you're thinking about those Detroit Lions against the Los Angeles Chargers. Lions side up first. So the return of David Montgomery, how does it impact Jahmyr Gibbs? Before, the touches were clearly in Montgomery's favor, but Gibbs has done so much, and Campbell has said as much, that Gibbs isn't going to go away. It's not going to be like it was before, Bloom, but how is it going to be?
No. Well, I think it could be like Kamara and Ingram when Ingram was good, where Montgomery can get a lot of the dirty work between the tackles. Gibbs can get a lot of receptions and touches in space and explosive plays, and they have to both be in your lineup. And I would try to buy high on Gibbs if there's any expectation at all that Gibbs is going to be back into that purgatory where he's a flex play and sometimes doesn't come through for you. I think that Gibbs is going to be unleashed. And of course, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta. The other thing we're going to watch here is a plan for Jameson Williams. Is there a plan for him coming out of the bye? Are they able to use this pause in the season to get something more, not just out of him for fantasy, although he is a what the heck flex this week, spoiler alert, but also to open up more for everybody else in this offense. The other thing I want to point out here, it's Detroit. They have won between now and week 17. They have one game outdoors, one game. So, yeah, we're ready for liftoff.
Yeah, ready for liftoff, ready to do more, and ready for Austin Eckler to continue to score touchdowns in bunches. Like, please and thank you. That's what we're expecting. That's what we think when we think of Eckler. And when we think of Justin Herbert, what are we thinking now? I was actually talking to, I actually know a Chargers fan. He's my Orkin guy. And he was like, I think it's Herbert's problem. I'm like, no, I think your coach is getting fired, buddy.
Yeah.
Because you got the quarterback. It's just not working.
Yeah. See, as I was previewing this game this morning, I thought, wow, we already went through the Justin Herbert rookie contract window. What even came of it? A loss to Jacksonville in the playoffs. So is Detroit's defense good? I mean, they're better than we thought they were coming into the season. Is it actually a good defense? They have a week, everyone to get healthy. We did see the Chargers offense really the Jets put the clamps on them, but the Jets do that to just about everybody. Okay. So we'll see if Detroit, maybe not the clamps, but at the very least, they can make things more difficult because, well, who does Justin Herbert have to throw to if you take away Keenan Allen and you contain Austin Eckler, who isn't healthy probably? He's not prime Austin Eckler right now. Quentin Johnston, Donald Parham, and Gerald Everett, maybe. I just think that this offense is pretty two-dimensional, 1.5-dimensional, short intermediate passing game. I do think that no running game to speak of, right? So I'm interested to see if Detroit can come out and find a way to checkmate them, because without Joshua Palmer, without Mike Williams, they become a lot easier to defend.
Killer Cam with a problem, because if you have both your quarterbacks on bye, what if she beats you with no quarterbacks, Killer? That's what I would ask. Like, because I'm
so
one.
Here's what I would say.
What's that?
It's Tua and Hurts, right? Tua and Hurts, and he would have to take a 0 if he doesn't drop one of them. So maybe
his fiance can't drop him.
Oh, his fiance, she can't.
Yeah,
We'll
she might beat you with no quarterback, Killer.
Right. So I would tell his fiance, if you watch the couch yesterday, listen to the couch with Derek Brown, is a good one. If you look ahead, it's about that time in the fantasy football calendar when you start looking ahead to the playoff schedule, because we know enough about opponents, we know enough about quality of defenses. In the fantasy playoffs, Miami faces, I don't know the exact order, it's like Jets, Dallas, Baltimore. Oh. How's Mike McDaniel? Because we've seen this offense when they are disrupted. When this is offense that, well, if it's Denver, they're going to make it look like a warm-up game, a 7-on-7 practice. But if it's a good defense, they can get frustrated. So maybe Tua as a sabotage drop. Just throwing that out there for his fiance.
Okay. All right. Our man Andrew checking in from Mexico. What part of Mexico? I'm just talking about that because when I move there, I'm going to be doing the Audible right near the beach.
Yeah, beachfront properties, not very expensive down there.
Giants. Your Giants aren't very expensive in your DFS leagues.
Oh,
oh boy. It's going to be Tommy DeVito. Okay. Maybe Saquon. Maybe Bloom. How quick can we do the Giants side?
Yeah, well, you're going to play Saquon because he's going to get the touches, and that's it. Maybe Wan'Dale Robinson is a what-the-heck flex, caught a touchdown last week from DeVito. But I'll say this, Cease. There are times we do this show, we do the preview, we do our rhythm, our recap, waiver wire show, and so on. And there are times that we will say, oh, do we have to talk about this team? Or, oh, this is so pathetic what this team is rolling out there. But one level below that is you just feel sorry for them. You just feel sorry for the team. You feel sorry for the fans. That's where I'm at with the Giants.
Yeah. Well, how about them Cowboys and more things? Turn around. Like, does it continue happening? I guess, kind of. Dallas is interesting. In this game, they should be dominant.
They should be. And this should be a game where they can dust some stuff off in the playbook, try some things out, Cavante Turpin gadget plays or something. Get Jalen Tolbert going. I think he has more to offer than Brandon Cooks and Michael Gallup at this point. Make sure that Dak to CeeDee Lamb connection is well oiled as it has been the last 2 weeks. Jake Ferguson. And maybe for fantasy, yes, please, your little wish here is get Tony Pollard going. This is a game where for the stretch run, you have some explosive plays. You find the Tony Pollard from 2 years ago, from last year, in the part-time role that you're not getting in the full-time role. So I think that's our aspirations for Dallas, where their aspirations are to prove that they can, win a playoff game.
Yeah, we've got aspirations of growing our YouTube channel. So please help us by liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and hitting the notification bell so that you never miss a vid, and help us out. And if you want to support the show, no silly super chats here. Just go to footballguys.com, sign up for that free daily newsletter. It's our introduction to you, the audience. And if you love what you see with Football Guys, well, sign up for a subscription. Good price. and we appreciate all your support. By the way, the Football Guys free daily newsletter, it's written by Cecil, Lammey, Sigmund, Bloom, and Joe Bryant. That is a hell of a trio. Bloom, the coffee's kicking in. Let's talk Washington, the Commanders against Seattle. They've got problemas in Seattle. We'll get to that in a little bit, but okay, Jekyll and Hyde meet Sam Howell.
Right.
So which Sam Howell are we getting this week? And by the way, Curtis Samuel might be back, which makes my Jahan Dotson stock cry.
Yeah, but it could be a good week for Jahan Dotson. So what's going to be interesting here is Sam Howell, who lives on the edge. Living on the edge. He has going to be throwing sometimes at Devin Witherspoon and Tariq Woolen. And maybe does that mean more Curtis Samuel or Jahan Dotson or Logan Thomas in the middle of the field? We'll see in the Legion of Boom Stadium, the 12th man, if Seattle's defense can actually have an influence on this game. Brian Robinson, you like more in game scripts where you think that Washington's going to lead, Washington's going to win. Maybe it's a little more of an Antonio Gibson, what the heck flex day, as he's coming on and getting some bigger games. And Washington, they're a Jekyll and Hyde team. And just when you think this is a team, they trade their best two pass rushers. And see, so you can speak to this, right? John Norton on his birthday. You know, John Norton did an IDP blitz on his birthday with us. What a guy.
He's
what
a
guy.
Better person than I.
Yeah, better. Yeah.
I'd have been like, what?
Anyway, he's talked about how Washington trades their top two pass rushers. They're sending a signal to their team that they're giving up on the season. And then they go and beat New England.
Right.
And it's Ron Rivera. So they're going to play with pride. But I think that maybe the answer here is, even though the front office is saying we're not going to be competitive this year, the team's going to go to Seattle and say, that's up to us.
That's up to us in our house in front of the 12th man. All right, Gino, come on. Come on, dude. This is on you. In team that doesn't have their two best pass rushers, like, you better look good this week or he's coming, everybody. So let's talk about Gino and the effect of, he could have a really good game this week. And what does that look like? Utilizing his tools properly.
Yeah. The Drew Lock Doomsday Clock is at least 1 minute closer.
The lock clock.
The lock clock.
1, 2, 3 lock box.
Tick. So we'll see. Geno Smith can push it back farther from midnight, or it can get closer to midnight. I wouldn't shock me, Cecil. I think we're close enough that if Geno comes out and say has 2 turnovers in the first half and Washington's ahead at halftime, you might see Lock in the second half. I think we're that close. And this is a good moment for me to remind folks, the NFL doesn't change incrementally. I mean, we do see incremental pretexts and foreshadowing, but it's small increments. Really, it's an inflection point where it changes all at once. You know, they're not going to replace. He just got replaced. That's how it goes. So be on alert. But then again, Geno Smith can also say, hey, no, this is still my job. Zach Charbonnet, is Kenneth Walker healthy? Let's watch practice reports. Even if he is it time for the fresher, younger legs, so slightly younger, but doesn't have as much mileage for Zach Charbonnet, NFL mileage. And I think it's Washington. And why are we saying Geno Smith better get it done this week? Because it's Washington without their top 2 pass rushers. So play all 3 of the wide receivers. They're all good plays this week. And maybe we may see a sign here that, speaking of youth coming on, Jackson Smith and Jigba, he may end up being the best play this week. He may end up being the best play in the second half of the season.
It may help win your fantasy league. And what are the Jets going to do? Okay. All right. Jets against the Raiders. Where's our pot stoner degenerate Jason? Why does he always miss the Raiders? Big Raiders fan. And then he oversleeps. It's them weed cookies, man. You got to stop going to that 7-Eleven and getting them weed cookies, dude. Come on. Although the 7-Eleven next to his house, again, our gas station talk.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice. It's pretty.
Yeah.
I'm a purveyor of 7-Elevens, right? Having worked there when I was a kid. I like it. Didn't get the weed cookies though. Joe's like, can you stop talking about the weed, the marijuana? Jets side, Bloom, on the road against the Raiders.
Yeah. See, you want to go real sorry, Joe plus?
Sure.
On this one.
Always.
This maybe this just says more about me. I'm turning this into an episode of On the Couch, you know? This game makes me think of like S&M, right? This game makes me think
Wow,
of some
you
sort
went
of.
there. Okay.
I went there because the sadism is watching Zach Wilson play, right?
I
Right?
wanted to cut out like average Joes in dodgeball when they got the boxes of uniforms mixed up. They didn't have their
Right,
uniforms, but they had the S&M gear. Have Zach Wilson
right,
come out with the
right,
bit in his mouth, right?
right. So it's just the masochism is the Raiders and Aiden O'Connell and throwing him out there against the Jets, right? Like risking turning him into Zach Wilson because he has to face the Jets. I mean, this is going to be a game where if you like cruelty to quarterbacks, either self-inflicted or inflicted by all kinds of mean, large, athletic men running at you. This is not going to be a game for offense. It's going to be offensive, like my analysis, right?
Yeah.
This is a game only a mother could love. This game, right? I mean, and what's funny about this too is you hear Jets Raiders, you think of the good old AFL days, right? This is harkening back to these AFL franchises. So I don't even know what to say on the Jets side. You play Breece Hall and you play Garrett Wilson because you know they're going to get enough touches and you know they have some upside in terms of their own playmaking ability and talent. And you have the Raiders that now without Josh McDaniels, again, what we're seeing is human psychology in action without having to play the victory cigars, Antonio Pierce. What is that? How does that translate? I mean, in some ways, this is a fun game because also both of these teams are still playoff contenders.
Let's do it. Let's go. And makes you think of S&M. Sorry, Joe. It makes me think of Disney Star Wars because it's not what it used to be. And just like Disney Star Wars and Kathleen Kennedy, we're going to have to shut off the dislike button on this video because you brought up naughty stuff, Bloom. So let's get naughty.
Letters. This episode is brought to you by the letter S.
Let's talk about LVR, right? And let's talk about the Las Vegas Raiders. You mentioned the psychology part. Yeah, at home cooking, be able to beat up on Zach Wilson and his bit. Like, let's do it.
Yeah, and hey, it's weird. We see all these taboos broken. Speaking of taboos,
you're on one today, man.
Well, because I was really visualizing this game and thinking, how is this game? What kind of game is this?
You were really visualizing something.
Yeah, always. I can't help it. I have not figured out how to turn that off. But certainly this is Las Vegas having all these professional sports teams, right? We're old enough to remember when that was considered just impossible because of all the different potential for impropriety and gambling being centered there. But I will say this, they have fun at sports events in Las Vegas. The Las Vegas crowds are fun crowds, right? They're going to enjoy themselves. And it is a Sunday night game in Las Vegas. So yeah, I think that this could be a lot of fun for Raiders fans, some pride for this logo. And it's not going to come from Aiden O'Connell. This is a tough defense. Just get them through the game intact, please. Honestly, this is going to be rough. So short passing to Josh Jacobs, Bo Hardegree. Short passing to Devontae Adams, short passing to Jacoby Myers, maybe PPR specials, all of these guys in this one. But I think a defensive touchdown or a special teams touchdown gets it done. If you can get a touchdown in this game, you're probably going to win it.
You're going to win this one. You're going to win this race. Bloom, I was told yesterday, and nothing's guaranteed in radio, so I'll probably just jinx myself, but I was told yesterday I'm going to the Super Bowl. So There you go. Vegas Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
You know where the Super Bowl is next year? After down here.
Is it New Orleans?
New Orleans.
Guess where I'm going that year?
Yeah.
Ooh, your Airbnb, you gotta be a bunch of money. Because I'm
Chris
like
Allen. No, Chris Allen is already it's reserved for Chris because he's a VIP.
Ah, very good, very good. I'll just stay with you then.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. We got Noah keeps all of his stuffed animals up on the upper bunk beds. We can just take the stuffed. You can sleep with the stuffed animals.
Yeah, that's good. It's all good, baby. That's how we do it. Oh wait, we got Monday night. Okay, now this one is interesting. By the way, Bloom, I love these references because like you'll talk baseball and I'll just like my eyes will glaze over. Thor 337 doesn't mean anything to you.
No. Is it the
It's a
Element?
very important issue, especially for
Oh,
me personally, because it's one of my favorite characters, Beta Ray Bill. It's his first appearance.
wow. I thought it was an isotope, some
He
sort of thing that's going to
took
cause us all to get brain cancer.
he took Mjolnir from Thor. He beat Thor's ass and took
Oh,
his hammer.
wow.
Yeah, and then Odin forged his own hammer for him, which was Stormbreaker. Anyway, nerd stuff over. Let's nerd out on the Denver Broncos and the Buffalo Bills, shall we? And this might be different than y'all think. Okay? It might. Now, the Broncos could get waxed. This could be 35-10. Or the Broncos could win this one. Now, how they win this one is Javonte getting 25 carries. Okay. That will continue. Jalil's the number 2, and he's the hope he breaks something big. If not, he's going to get like 4 carries, whatever. They keep saying Marvin Mims is going to do more. I told everyone to bid 7%. You had him as a 7 to 15%, I
Right.
believe, Bloom. I said, put it more on the 7 side. I've seen enough in practice, and not just this week, but like every week Mims is doing way more than, and they get on the field and because now people are like, well, what is you not picking up the offense? Like, not from what I'm seeing. It looks like the kid's like ready to go. Sean Payton just not using him unless he starts using him against Buffalo. We'll have to check NFLweather.com. This one's not in Germany. This one's in Buffalo. So, well, they'll be drinking some German beer, probably about 9
Yeah.
a.m. Wait,
Yeah.
describe a Monday to me in Buffalo, right? You probably get up about 8:30, start drinking about 8:31. Your first table is broken at 9. You know,
Yeah.
you light your first fire
For
on
your
said
appetizer table.
Yeah, that's about noon, right? Yeah, you know, can't take the flames too soon. But anyway, Buffalo's going to be ready for this one. They need to win. Had they beaten Cincinnati, this would be a lot different. They're desperate for a win. The Broncos are desperate for a win as well, but they have to win a different way, Bloom.
I agree. And I think you're right that if you were to say, I can have one statistic, I can learn what one statistic will be at the end of the game. And based on that, I can predict whether Denver, at the very least, stays in this game, if not wins. It would be Javonte Williams carries. If he gets above 20 carries, then we're looking okay, because you're getting this game on a script where you shorten it, where you just have to get off the field on third down on defense. And I think that you're right, Marvin Mims remaining a what the heck flex here, because what you hope is that you lull this Buffalo defense into just stopping Javonte Williams for 2 or 3 yard gain. Stop Javonte Williams for a 2 or 3 yard gain. And then you have to play action shot to Marvin Mims. And then if you don't think that's how this is going to go, if you do think that Buffalo is going to jump out on this one, on this Denver defense, then maybe you're looking more at Cortland Sutton. You're looking more at Jerry Jeudy, possession targets. You're looking more at Russell Wilson as a bye-week coverage quarterback 2 super flex, and maybe Jaleel McLaughlin. And I guess the question is, I'll put it to you this way, Cecil. If it's 28-3 in the second half, what running back is going to be on the field for Denver?
Javonte.
Well,
sorry, like Jalil's not going to get the work, everybody. Like, it's not going to happen. Sorry, the talent's there, but and here's the thing. You want to blame it on somebody? Blame it on Russell flipping Wilson, because Russell Wilson can't do what Sean wants him to do. So Sean, instead of taking his ball and going home, is just like, we're just going to run it all the time.
Yeah, 50
Javonte,
degrees.
Yeah.
By the way, it's Monday night. It's going to be nice for November in Buffalo.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Buffalo side of things. Denver's defense is interesting. I like Vance Joseph as a person. I don't think he's good at his job, but that defense has been much better. And they made a couple of different changes. The Fabian Moreau move, taking out Damari Mathis, that has worked. The return of Baron Browning, who has been Baron Browning, one of my favorites. So he gets the Keanu kiss, that's for sure, for Baron Browning. Why am I talking about the Broncos defense? Well, because the Buffalo's offense isn't as good as it needs to be. They need to run the flipping ball. Sorry, Joe. They need to run the ball.
Yeah.
They won't run the ball. Josh will do everything. I can do it, guys. I can do it. Like, all right, maybe he can. Again, this could be 35-10. Buffalo wins easy. Josh looks great. Everything's working. Khalil Shakir, right? And where's Dalton Kincaid? Broncos can't stop a tight end, although they kind of box and won Travis Kelce last time out when they beat the Chiefs. Yes, that's right, beat the Chiefs. So again, very, very interesting. Denver is not, there could still be a pushover, everybody. I want to couch this properly, but they're not the pushover that they were when the Dolphins dropped 70 on them.
Yeah. See, so I always know it's going to be a good take when you start out. I like him as a person, but whatever's coming next, get your popcorn. Get your popcorn for the short passing game. Popcorn? Well, I mean, that's not going to be any kind of, that's more like the classic movie theater popcorn that eventually you eat enough of it and it doesn't taste good. And like you said, Denver, the poor tackling, the discombobulation on defense, players that are easy to target, move the ball against. You're tightening that stuff up, and there are some players that can make some things happen. So I think it will be a feisty performance for Denver, and you're going to see Josh Allen stay with passing to Dalton Kincaid, Khalil Shakir, and of course Stephon Diggs. But I would guess we're going to see Stephon Diggs facing Patrick Surtain a lot, and maybe Cecil, you talked about this a lot in the first half of the season. Patrick Surtain wasn't even Patrick Surtain. Right? Their best player. Now their franchise player, right? Maybe out of the bye, maybe with this team getting its sense of pride, getting its bearings, that he can force maybe more throws to Gabe Davis. I think Gabe Davis is a barometer player for Buffalo. I would guess there's going to be 2 or 3 third downs. They're important third downs, and maybe 1 or 2 of those could be Gabe Davis targets. And if he's going to convert them, this could be a better night for Buffalo. They need somebody else in this passing game if Patrick Surtain makes it more difficult to throw to Stephon Diggs. And like you said, Cease, maybe James Cook. Why not James Cook? Why not James Cook? Certainly he's going to have a lot of tread on the tires. They haven't been using him. Maybe playoff Lenny gets activated before this game. I don't know. We'll see about that. That could be a signal that they want to establish the run a little bit more, because I think even at this point, Lenny would be better than Latavius Murray.
That would be correct, sir. There we go. Let me see. Oh, Rollins asks, chat, do I trade Amari for Javonte in full PPR? He's deep at wide receiver right now.
I think you got to do that.
Yeah.
I think you do that because, and I'm gonna say on your behalf, Cease, like you've been telling us from preseason that Sean Payton wants to run the ball. You were telling us in March, okay, during free agency, Sean Payton wants to run the ball. And if the team is more competitive, he's going to get to run the ball. With Amari Cooper, you're depending on Deshaun Watson. So, is it going to change your season? No. With running backs so brutal, Derek Brown and I went over this on the couch yesterday, that you can look at your running back rankings and pretty quickly, there aren't 12 running back ones in fantasy football right now. There's like 5 or 6. Javonte Williams could end up being one more if Denver's competitive.
Yeah, or his window could come crashing down because they're giving 27 carries a game. But either way, I would rather take a chance on that than having anything to do with Deshaun Watson. Bloom, do you rank your couch outings? Wait, I should read.
That doesn't sound good at us, Sorry Joe Plus.
We had to get rid of that couch, just put it on the corner.
Disinfect it. Put it through the car wash.
Yes, that's right. Don't take the plastic off of it. Did your grandparents do that? I remember going to see Grandpa Paul and Grandma Nellie, and they're very, very proud. Of course, coming over from Mexico, and Grandpa Paul was the only member of my family that came over that became a legal citizen. Whatever that makes you feel, they'll feel it. But he was very proud of being an American citizen, and he always make fun of Grandma Nellie because she was still illegal, whatever. But like his couch meant the world to him because he was so proud. He worked for Union Pacific. He, loved the trains, and he loved that he bought his home. I wish I could get that home in Laramie and buy it. It's the house my mom grew up in. And I feel bad because I went to Chad Muma's pro day, and so I always go to the house just to like stop and park out in front of it. And I got outside and I was walking around the house, and the owner came out as I was leaving. I wanted to talk to him, you know what I mean? But I didn't want to knock on the door and be like, "Hey, my mom grew up here." But why did I start talking about that? Oh, the couch, Grandpa Paul's couch. Yeah. Yep. You better keep that thing clean. Keep the plastic on it.
Yeah, it's a good couch. And I think the important thing about the couch is being comfortable, and that's when the thoughts flow, and that's whenever our best decisions happen, like who to start at flex this week.
Yeah, exactly. That's a wrap for the show, everyone.
No.
Wait.
Are ever popular. If we
Oh.
don't give them what's popular, then we're not going to be popular anymore.
So you get me started talking about Grandpa Paul's couch, and
Yeah.
then I totally get off. We totally redeem ourselves with their ever popular what the heck flex. You're looking over your lineup, you're like, oh yeah, I forgot. I need some punch in that last spot. I can't make the decision. Allow us to make it for you. Is Rico Dowdle a what the heck flex? You know, like going up against the Giants, it could be backup time early. Cowboys and Giants. So Rico Dowdle, what the heck flex? Sure, I'll take it. Jamal Williams, my buddy, always a what the heck flex, because if they get near pay dirt, then that's what he's gonna do. So, like, all right, let's look over the rest of the lineups, wide receiver position that you could go to as your ever popular what the heck flex. Yeah, Marvin Mims. Yeah, he's in there. What the heck flex? Zay Flowers, as you mentioned earlier, Wan'Dale Robinson, as you mentioned earlier, for me, Khalil Shakir, I think is almost even a regular flex play this week. We'll see. We'll see if Josh is doing it all. Or there's the Wyoming connection, Bloom. Wyoming Cowboys, baby. Can Josh do it all? Bloom, can your what the heck flexes do it all this week?
Well, they can do enough, right? You just need them to do enough. Running back is rough, so not a lot. Devin Singletary, if Dameon Pierce isn't out there, Tyjae Spears against a stout Tampa run defense, maybe he gets more run. Keaton Mitchell, Dante Foreman looks like he's going to get the start, just in case you were uncertain about Chicago coming up tonight against Carolina. Tyler Algier, because he's the best red zone goal line back they have. Just ask Arthur Smith. And Zach Charbonnet, as maybe we could see this become his backfield by default, and also because this is an offense that hasn't been establishing the run. Wide receiver Marvin Mims, deep threats, right? Marvin Mims, Jamison Williams, Rashid Shaheed, and then possession receivers, Khalil Shakir, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Kyle Phillips. How do you know
Shout out Kyle Phillips, man.
Right? How do you know that Will Levis is good for the Titans passing game? We're talking about their slot receiver.
Mike Vrabel making the right decision.
Yeah. So are you going to call it the Junior Senior Bowl? Junior Senior was a really good, I think, Dutch dance band. Like it was, I don't know, band. Listen to me. I sound like an old man. Every move your feet and get united. Whoa. Remember that song? Late 90s?
No.
That was Junior Senior. It has a good
Junior
8-bit
Senior?
video. It has a good 8-bit video.
Okay. Junior Senior. Yeah, the junior spoiler alert. And they do this. This is totally unwarranted, but they do this because of the pressure that was put on them by the Shrine game. Like Eric Galco has done such a fantastic job that the Shrine game was pushing the Senior Bowl. This is something that we had anticipated. Like, okay, now that the Shrine Bowl is getting, Zay Flowers, they were getting first round talent at the Shrine Bowl, taking it away from the Senior Bowl because the Shrine Bowl was connected with the NFL and the Pro Bowl when it was in Vegas. It's not in Vegas this year. But like the next move for the Senior Bowl was to allow all juniors to come in. This is interesting. And honestly, Bloom, it makes the Shrine Bowl even more important.
Yeah, well, and it's another one of those taboos that has been broken because back when you and I started going to the Senior Bowl in 2007, it was impossible. It was impossible that the NCAA and the NFL were so much in concert with each other that the Senior Bowl was a reward for playing out all 4 years. And if we started giving that reward to players that were coming out early, then it was going to be an incentive for players to come out early. That was before name, image, likeness, and all that good stuff. By the way, junior, senior, it's not Dutch, Danish, a Danish dance.
I still don't remember that.
And it was 2002. It's a good one. It's a song that's like a musical antidepressant. It's good. Move your feet.
You need some of those, man.
Junior,
you need
senior.
some of those. Yeah, don't stop that beat. That's what Illogic says.
That's right. Can't control my feet.
I might have heard it. It would have been one of those things like you heard,
Mhm.
word you heard, and then you're just like, I don't know. So, yeah.
It's a
I don't
good
know.
one. The Junior Senior Bowl. No, not a rave, not a dance party.
I'll take some glow sticks to Mobile. Might be the only one with them there, but either way. Yeah, that's a wrap. Gotta run. Appreciate you all. YouTube things. YouTube overlord. Sorry for the S&M talk. Sorry, Joe.
Sorry for get off and
Right.
couch outings
The
ranked.
couch, the stained couch. Right. Okay. That's right. Yeah, he's Sigmund. I'm Cecil. We are the Audible. Everyone, thanks for watching. Stay tuned. And would you please stay frosty?